السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم Mr. How are you?
MashaAllah, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And good morning. It's still a morning, yes. So good morning, boys. I hope everybody is doing well. And everybody is okay, inshallah, by the grace of Allah. So today's topic is, yes, Abdurrahman Wahib, hi to you as well. Today the topic we'll be discussing is about the uses of glucose. So if you're looking at the canvas, this has the learning objectives. We're going to see that the photosynthesis produces the glucose, and then where are they utilized? The starch, glucose, and the nitrogen and magnesium. How is energy used by the plant? What is glucose used for in a plant? So our perspective is going to be with regarding to the plants. And how do they utilize their own produced glucose? So here's a small video from the GCSE pod. We're going to watch this. So I'll be waiting for one more minute till the class walks in. Ryan is here, Muhammad is here. So we should start in a few seconds. Alim is here. Firas keeps on coming back and forth. All right.
Plants carry out photosynthesis to produce food, whereas animals eat their food. Both plants and animals require food for the same reasons, for growing and repairing tissue.
The food product that's made during photosynthesis is a simple sugar called glucose. It's made from carbon dioxide and water reacting in the presence of light.
Glucose is the starting point for many plant products and for respiration. Respiration is an essential chemical reaction carried out by all living organisms. It happens in the mitochondria of cells. Glucose and oxygen react to produce water and carbon dioxide with the release of energy.
The purpose of respiration is to release energy, which is used by plants for active transport of substances across cell membranes and to build up new substances such as starch, protein, fats, chlorophyll and cellulose.
Glucose can be converted into starch for storage. Glucose is soluble in water, so if it was stored inside the cells as glucose, it would change the concentration of the cytoplasm. This would cause the cell to swell because water would enter the cell by a process called osmosis. Instead, glucose molecules are joined together to make long molecules of starch. Starch is insoluble and can be stored as grains in the cytoplasm of the cell. When you eat food containing starch, your body breaks down the starch, turning it back into glucose. You can then use the glucose for respiration.
You might have carried out an experiment in which you added an orange chemical called iodine to a leaf. Green parts of the leaf that had been carrying out photosynthesis would have gone black as the iodine reacted with the starch stored in the cells. Any leaves or parts of leaves that hadn't carried out photosynthesis would have stayed orange. Why would some areas of the leaf not have been photosynthesizing? They might have been kept in the dark, or they may not have contained any chlorophyll.
Glucose can be converted into many other substances and transported around the plant to storage organs such as the roots, fruits, seeds and swollen stems called tubers. Potatoes are underground stem tubers. Such storage organs can supply the plant with glucose at times when photosynthesis is slow, such as in winter.
Plants also make protein, which is used for growth and repair. Glucose combines with nitrate ions from the soil to make amino acids, which join up to make proteins. Plants called legumes store protein in their seeds. Legumes include pea and bean plants. This is why peas and beans are good sources of vegetarian protein.
Other important proteins that plants need to make include enzymes for speeding up chemical reactions. Glucose can be converted to fats and oils, also known as lipids. Plants such as sunflowers store fat in their seeds. Olives store fat in their fruit. Both of these can be used by humans as oil for cooking and eating.
A very important molecule that couldn't be made without glucose is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment found in chloroplasts and is essential for photosynthesis.
Finally, cellulose. Plants are different from animals in that most plants continue to grow throughout their entire life. In order to do this, plants have to continually make new cells. Plants have cell walls made from cellulose. Glucose is essential here too because cellulose is made from glucose.
The fact that plants store glucose as these many different substances is important for animals, including humans. We eat the storage organs of plants and use the substances such as starch and protein to provide us with the energy and raw materials for growth and repair.
Alright, this is not the video. So we have seen the uses of the glucose. Anybody would like to highlight a few points? And where do the plants use these glucose? Yes, anybody would like to tell me that why do the plants need glucose? Any one answer would be good enough. Why do the plants need glucose? One of the reasons is for the respiration. They have to do the respiration. They need the glucose so they can grow and they can repair themselves as well. So let me show you another video that the use of glucose in the animals and in the plants. Okay, 1 minute. So there's another video. Let me show you guys. Share that. Let me turn on the voice.
Hello and welcome to this video by Get to Know Science. This video is about photosynthesis and how glucose is used in plants. So like all living things, plants need food, and food gives them the energy for growth, reproduction, respiration and other things. But plants don't have mouths to eat with, but what they do have is a way to make their own food, and it's called photosynthesis. So plant cells have chloroplasts, which contain a pigment called chlorophyll. So this would be, that's a chloroplast, and it contains the pigment chlorophyll. It's inside the chloroplasts that the plants make their food by photosynthesis, and the raw ingredients that plants use are carbon dioxide and water. So they get carbon dioxide from the air, they absorb it through their leaves, and they get the water from the ground through their roots. During photosynthesis, the plant uses light energy. The light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll, and this energy is used to convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. Glucose is a simple sugar and is very useful to the plant, and we'll talk about that later in the video. The oxygen here is released into the air via the leaves. So we've got carbon dioxide coming in via the leaves and oxygen leaving the plant via the leaves, and then we have water coming in through the roots from the ground, from the soil. Now what's important to understand is that plants are not using light for food. They don't make the light into food. The light only provides energy. So the light only provides energy for the reaction to take place, and the plant will convert the carbon dioxide and the water into food, which is the glucose. So the full equation is this: carbon dioxide plus water will give you glucose and oxygen using light energy. And this is the symbol equation down here. The symbol equation isn't balanced, but I can quickly balance it for us. And you need to be able to do this yourself. You need to be able to balance equations yourself. I've got a video on balancing equations, so you can go and check that one out. But I've just balanced it for us here. Now, also importantly, this equation shows an endothermic reaction because it's taking in energy from the environment. So in order for this reaction to take place, it needs to take in light energy from the environment, and therefore that makes it an endothermic reaction. So what do plants use the glucose for? Well, some of it is used immediately by the cells for vital cell functions. For example, glucose can be used for carrying out respiration, which provides energy for doing other things like growth. They can use that energy as well to build glucose into more complex carbohydrates like cellulose, and cellulose is used to strengthen cell walls. They can also combine glucose with nitrate ions and other mineral ions that they get from the soil, and they can use those to produce amino acids, which make up proteins. Plants also use glucose to make oils and fats, and they use them as a long-term energy store. So they store those often in nuts and seeds as a long-term energy store. Some glucose is converted to starch for storage. Starch provides the plant with energy when it's dark, for example at night, and it can also be used as a long-term store of energy, for example in potatoes. So starch here is another energy store. It uses the starch for energy when it's dark outside, when there's no light and it's not able to do photosynthesis. That's when it uses starch. And we can actually do a test for starch to check if a leaf has been carrying out photosynthesis or not. So you can take a leaf and you can cover part of the leaf so that no light gets to it, and then you can test it to see which parts of the leaf have been doing photosynthesis and which parts have not. So first, before you actually test the leaf with iodine, what you have to do is strip the leaves of their waxy cuticle, which is the outer waxy waterproof layer on the leaf, and to do that you have to boil it in ethanol, and then what you do is you rinse it in hot water to soften the leaf, and then you can drop some iodine solution onto the leaf and check for a color change. If it turns black or dark blue, that means starch is present. So looking at this leaf here in this picture, you can tell here which part was covered and which part had access to light. So this part here, the dark bit, contains starch, and the light bit was in the dark, and it doesn't contain starch because there was no reaction and there was no color change. Okay, so that was just a quick video on photosynthesis and the uses of glucose in the plant. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you've got any suggestions, comment below. Okay, and I'll see you in our next video. So looking at this
was the part where it was showing you that if you block the sunlight, then there's going to be no photosynthesis. So this region, this whole region was blocked. You covered it up and you did not let the leaf receive any sunlight. So if they were not receiving any sunlight, they will not be able to do any photosynthesis. So if there's no photosynthesis, then there's going to be no starch. So the leaves also make the glucose and they convert that glucose into starch. So this was the main objective of this video. one of the reasons. So let me clear the annotations. Muhammad is here. Let me pause. And there is another small video session on the same topic. Sultan is here in the class. Yes, how plants use the glucose.
How Plants Use Glucose by kscience.com. This here is a leaf. In the leaf are plant cells, where there are chloroplasts. In the chloroplast is where photosynthesis takes place.
All right, Muhammad Al-Harbi is raising a hand. Yes, Muhammad.
Mr.
Yes, Muhammad.
Mr. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Mr. I was in the lesson in my computer, then my computer closed. I don't know why.
So how long did you stay out of the class?
2 minutes.
Okay, so I repeated almost the last 2 minutes. Did you see it?
Yeah, I was with you, Mr. But the computer
No
closed
problem.
2 minutes ago.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So we're going to continue the session about how the plants themselves use the glucose.
This is the word equation for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water react and in the presence of light to form oxygen and glucose. So what is glucose used for in plants? Glucose is used in respiration in mitochondria. So the glucose is transported to the mitochondria in other cells around the plant. And the word equation for respiration is glucose plus oxygen react together to form water and carbon dioxide. And this takes place in the mitochondria. So this here is aerobic respiration, which is the complete combustion of glucose in the presence of oxygen. And this releases energy. So there is a release of energy during this reaction. And this process is called aerobic respiration. So glucose is used for respiration.
So as we can see that they are opposite to each other. The photosynthesis was using carbon dioxide and water, and it produces the oxygen with glucose. But once this glucose goes to the mitochondria, which is again inside the cell, this is all happening inside the cell. You are doing the photosynthesis in the chloroplast inside the cell. Once the glucose comes out of the chloroplast, it goes to the mitochondria. We are talking about the same cell. Glucose and oxygen are going to react here, and they would release the energy that the plant utilizes for growing and for repairing itself, while they are producing water and carbon dioxide. Remember, this carbon dioxide and water can be again reutilized in the photosynthesis as well. Let me put this thing away. So they are reusable. And this is respiration and this is photosynthesis.
It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding.
So who would like to answer this question? What are the reactants for photosynthesis? What were the two things which were on the left side of the arrow? You saw there was an arrow. On the right side we have something, and on the left side we have something. So the left things are the reactants. What were the two things which were reacting together? 3. Okay, option 3. Waleed, you're correct. So Waleed has done the good job. The right answer is carbon dioxide and water. It's okay. So let's check the next question. Oh, I actually missed while I was reading Muhammad's message. All right. So this is a question. Let me read the question. What is released during respiration? What are you going to release? Are you going to release the mitochondria? Are you going to release the energy or the glucose? Remember, this is respiration. What are we going to release? So Waleed is right. Nadir, no. We are not going to release. Release means something which is coming out. You actually doing the respiration inside the mitochondria. So how can we release the mitochondria out of mitochondria? So mitochondria doesn't come out of the mitochondria. Choose the option carefully. Yes, Muhammad, you are right. It is the right option. Muhammad Al-Andijani, yes, it is difficult to pronounce his name. Badr, you're right as well. Good job. Anybody else? So the right answer is you release the energy. That energy which is trapped from the sunlight in the glucose, when this glucose goes into the mitochondria, you do the opposite reaction of the photosynthesis, and instead of trapping the energy, you release the energy. So the answer is releasing the energy. Option 2. So let's go to the next question. Okay, this is the right answer.
So let's now describe how glucose is used to form other substances in the plant. So what I'm drawing here are glucose molecules. These are monomers of glucose. The energy that is released by the mitochondria during respiration is used to convert glucose into the polymer cellulose. So what I'm drawing now is cellulose, which is glucose molecules that have been bonded together to form the polymer cellulose. So the energy released by the mitochondria during respiration is used to make bonds between glucose molecules to form cellulose. So the energy released by the mitochondria during respiration is used to make bonds between glucose molecules to form cellulose. And cellulose is used in plant cell walls. So what I'm drawing here are plant cells. These here are the cell walls. I'm representing the cellulose inside the cell walls. So this here is the cellulose that is used to make cell walls in plant cells.
So let me wind this up. Now, whatever the energy that you have released from mitochondria, you are using this energy all the way to make a cellulose. Cellulose is made up of large number of glucose molecules. You're just combining them together. You're just making them link together. This linking needs energy. So this energy is coming from the mitochondria, where you had used the glucose with the oxygen and you did respiration. So the respiration is helping the plant to create the cellulose. It is going to be utilized in the cell wall of the new cells. So if I'm going to produce new cells, I need cell wall. So this cell wall is coming from the glucose again. And who is giving you the energy to make a cell wall? It's coming from the mitochondria.
Plant cells only. So cellulose is used to make cell walls in plants. The cellulose is used to strengthen and support the cell walls of plant cells. Glucose molecules that have been produced from the photosynthesis reaction in plant cells is used to combine with nitrate ions. So this here is a glucose molecule that is being combined with a nitrate ion. So amino acids are produced by combining glucose molecules and nitrate ions. This produces amino acids.
All right, the nitrate ions are usually coming from the soil. The nitrate ions are in the soil. They are like salts. They contain the nitrogen and the oxygen. So nitrite ions are usually coming when the rain happens, when there's the thunder lightning. We take the nitrogen from the air and we get it fixed into the soil. So that's how the soil receives the nitrate ions. So once the plant absorbs the water from the roots, it also absorbs nitrate ions. So nitrate ions is coming from the water from the roots. And then adding the glucose, what's going to happen? Look into this. You create protein.
So when amino acids are bonded together, they form a polypeptide chain and then a protein. So amino acid chains end up forming proteins. It's question time. Attempt these questions.
So you guys have seen that the proteins, the amino acids, are being created from the nitrate ions and the glucose together, right? And the nitrate ions, as I mentioned, it is coming from the roots. The water is absorbing from the roots. The plant gets not only the water, it gets the nitrate ions. So whatever the glucose that the plant has produced during the photosynthesis is going to be utilized in creating the proteins in the plants, like we have legumes. So these are the beans. So let's see the questions.
To check your understanding.
All right, the first question is glucose is converted to cellulose, which is used to do what? What is the function of the cellulose? Number one, make plant cell membranes. Number two, strengthen and support the animal cells. Number three, make plant cell walls. Plant cell walls. So what are the options? You can reply me through the chat. Okay, Waleed, mashallah, you have done the right answer. Badr, you are also right. So there are two options which are almost right, but the best option is one of them. There is one option which is absolutely wrong, and there are two options which are correct, out of which one of them is the best answer. So those who are selecting the least correct answer, I'll still accept it. So Nader, okay, that is good. Good. Remember what is the use of the cellulose once it is converted from glucose? What is the use? What does it do? Anybody else? Waleed says it's easy. I agree with you, but there are some boys who are not participating. So that's going to be something negative for them. We have 21 boys in the class, and out of 3 boys are responding. So the rest of the class who are sleeping will not get any score for their participation. Sorry for that. Even if you answered wrong, but that means you are with me. So Faisal is raising a hand. Faisal, you can reply through the text. Yes, please text. Muhammad, you're right. This answer is absolutely perfect. Muhammad Abu Jadail, correct answer. Okay, yes, we'll come to your question later. Right now, we are trying to solve this question. And Faisal replied through the text chat. So the right answer is option 3. I will take even option 2, that it is strengthening and supporting. Oh, sorry, animal cells. No, that's wrong. Option 3 is correct. I couldn't read the complete screen because I have 2, 3 more, administrative windows with me. So that's why. So it didn't strengthen and support the animal cells. Remember, cellulose is only in the plant cells. So the option 3 is correct, that it is going to make the cell walls. So let's give the mic to ES.
Yeah, Mr.
Yes, Mr.
I wanted to ask you شو اسمه؟ خلاص you answered the question when you wrote.
All right, good. So I'll give the mic to ES. ES, keep the mic with you and read the next question if you would like to.
Okay.
Let's pause the video and you have the mic.
What do you combine with glucose to form amino acids? Mister?
So what are the options? Could you read the options?
Nitrogen, proteins, nitrate ions.
Yes. What do you combine with glucose to make proteins or amino acids? Is it going to be nitrogen? Is it going to be proteins or nitrate ions? Please respond by text. Do not say it out loud so that we can check with other boys. Waleed, no. Muhammad Abu Jadail, no. Think again. This was something that was coming from the roots. We saw the diagram. Yes, no. What do you combine with glucose? What is that thing which was adding up with the glucose that makes the protein? So you don't add the glucose with the protein to make protein. You add something else. No, Waleed, that is right. Now you're correct. Yes, no. Look at this part of the video. Let me go to this. This is 345. Look at that. Glucose is combining with what to make amino acids? So let's go back to 345. It's the nitrate ions. All right. So let's go to the next question. Oh, I missed the next one. So sorry. Yeah, if you haven't seen the answer, then let's go to Faisal. Yes, Faisal.
Yes, mister.
Oh, you were raising a hand.
Yes. The answer?
Yes, read the question first.
Amino acids bond together to form.
Good. What do the amino acids make? Do they make glucose, proteins, or
No,
nitrogen?
they make. They don't make glucose.
Good.
Uh, so they make nitrogen.
Nitrogen is
No. Proteins.
yes, nitrogen is an element. You cannot make the nitrogen. So protein
Yes.
is the right answer. Good job, Faisal. Well done. So those boys like Waleed, Muhammad, and Badr, you are all answering it right. Nader, you too. Good job. So let's go to the next question. Okay, I'll make sure.
Plants have energy.
Okay, so he is going to explain something now. So please pay attention.
Plants have energy stores, but glucose isn't stored as glucose. Glucose is converted into lipids. Glucose is converted into lipids. These lipids are then stored in seeds. These lipids, aka fats, are chemical energy stores of the plant. So glucose molecules are also converted into starch. So this is a glucose monomer, and the glucose monomers are going to be bonded together to form starch.
So you guys, when you're eating those seeds, the pumpkin seeds and the sunflower seeds that we all love to eat, they're salty as well. They contain the lipids. They contain a high amount of energy. They're little and small. You think that they are like useless. They're just good for eating for taste. No, but they contain a lot of nutrients. They contain magnesium and zinc, and they are very good for our bodies. The lipids and the fats they contain are very nice. They are very healthy for us. And the glucose can also create starch like potatoes and carrots. So let's see what.
Starch looks quite similar to cellulose, but they are different. So starch is then stored in different areas of the plant. So if there is a lack of nutrients, the starch can be broken down back into glucose and used in respiration. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding.
All right, let's see. What are the reactants for photosynthesis? This is the one of the first questions. I hope everybody can answer this right now. Yes, boys, the chat option is open. Is it 1, 2, or 3? What are the reactants? The reactants means the one which are going to react to do the photosynthesis. What are the starting points? Yes, correct, Mother. Correct, Waleed. Nadir. No. Reactants for photosynthesis, which are going to start the chemical reaction. What are the two things we mix to do the photosynthesis? The photosynthesis is to produce glucose. So the option is 3. We use carbon dioxide and water to do the photosynthesis. These are the reactants. What are the products Now look at this. What are the products, the result of respiration, not photosynthesis, now respiration? What is the right answer? What do we get when we respire? What are the products? Products are those which are on the right side of the arrow, which is the end product, which comes out after doing the respiration. What do we get? Waleed, this is not the right answer. What do you get when you have done the respiration? And Wahib is keep on coming back and forth. What do we get after doing the respiration? What are the products? No, Mother, not the right option. Product, not reactants. You guys are mentioning reactants. Waleed, not again. Okay. The right answer is carbon dioxide and water. The respiration. If you remember the respiration, products for respiration is not oxygen and glucose. Hold on. What is this guy questioning about? It's the reactants for respiration. That is question is wrong. We are talking about the reactants. Reactants are oxygen and glucose. Look at this diagram. Look at this. Glucose and oxygen are on the left side of the arrow. That means these are the reactants, and the right side is the product. So water and carbon dioxide is the product. So there's a typing mistake. He maybe wanted to ask the reactants, but he got the answer for products. So this is not the, okay. All right, this question. Who would like to, which statement is correct? Number one, glucose is stored as starch in seeds. Number two, lipids are stored in seeds. Number three, glucose is stored in the leaf as glucose. So, Muhammad, I don't know if you answered this question. Walid, I don't know if you choose this option. So, Nader, you're right. Yes, no. Badr, no. Think again. We just discussed about the pumpkin seeds and the sunflower seeds. What was it stored as? Was it starch or was it lipids? Yes, Badr, you're correct. Yes, no. It's the second option. Lipids are stored in seeds. Number two. All right, so I think our time is up. Okay. So boys, try to answer these questions. I will upload, I will paste that link on the canvas, inshallah, right now after the class ends. And if there's any questions, let me know.